name's Richard Hayhow and I run Open Theatre Company, and we've organised a conference and a festival. The conference is called Is That All There Is? And the festival is called the Can Festival. It's showcasing the work of young people with learning disabilities within the arts and raising aspiration and inspiration for what can be achieved, but it's also looking at how we can all get together to work together to create many more opportunities for young people with learning disabilities right across the arts sector. It's time for change, it's time for things to move on in a significant way. I've been working in this area for about 25 years and I just want things to happen more quickly now. It's about time.
I'm Paige and this has been at the Open Theatre Company conference with We Can for young people with learning difficulties, and it's been all about discussing plans for the future, what we can do for people with learning difficulties to get them more involved with jobs in the arts. My role has been to sort a lot of things out. I've been involved in a lot of meetings and tell people where they're going and whatnot, and just help and co-host with Joe as well. It's been an eye-opener.
Take 3.
My name's Jo Trousdale. I work at Warwick University in education, but I've been involved in the field of arts and education for some time, working through creative partnerships. I've known Richard for a very long time through his practice with shysters, through acting as a kind of research support for him in his thinking about his practice. And particularly in relation to the conference, I'm here as a critical friend, really. I'm focused on helping Richard through the role of the steering group in identifying where this journey takes us and ensuring that each of the steps that we take move us forward. This event was about bringing people across the Midlands to identify what were the changes that needed to happen at all levels, but certainly very strategically to make a change in the field.
What I thought I'd do, just to kind of introduce where we're at, is to answer to some extent those questions. What work is going on for and with young people with learning disabilities that you know about? Is it enough? I called the conference Is That All There Is for a reason. Okay, I don't think there is enough, obviously. I think there's a lot of really good work going on right across the country, but it's in pockets, it's isolated, and it's not connected with all the other stuff that's going on in the arts. I'm not going to use the word mainstream. I'm not wanting to mainstream necessarily. I want us all to be working together right across the arts sector in whatever way. And whatever we do is as mainstream as anyone else. We just need to make connections. We need to get more people involved in everything that's going on in the arts. And that's the thrust of this conference, is about how do many more young people engage in the arts in all sorts of ways, whether it is as choreographers, painters, whatever, or whether it is working front of house in a building like this. It doesn't matter, as long as we're increasing the involvement and connection that young people have in our arts.
My name is Dr. Sue Chalice and I'm an independent evaluator, and I worked with the ITATI team in the planning of the project. We wanted the evaluation to be completely integrated into the project so that the whole event would have evaluation and feedback and reflection going through it, and we could feed back to people during the event as well what they'd been saying.
My name is Sipo Eric Dube. The reason I am here is because I've been working with Open Theatre as a freelance workshopper and a performer as well.
Good evening.
That's good evening. Come on. There we go.
Thank you so much. My name is Sipo.
And I'm Nicky Priest.
And welcome to the Can Festival.
Yes!
Because we can! Yes,
Days have been brilliant, and I've just witnessed an opportunity, a massive opportunity for conversation. I've seen so many different art organisations being able to communicate with each other about topics that they usually wouldn't, and it's because of the structure of the conference. I found that because of the way it's structured and the questions that are being asked, it's not just about what our other organisations are doing, but it's how can we all support each other and how can we all give to each other in ideas, in resources and opportunities for the young people and just people with learning disabilities in general. So that's why I found it and experienced it as a unique opportunity, really.
So my name is Rory McGee and I am a community artist based here in Birmingham. I think primarily one of the things that hit me immediately about the conference was how much emotion and passion there's been about the people who have been at the conference and talking about the work that needs to be done. There are a lot of people here who I think know that there is a change that needs to be made and are really going to strive for it after the conference is finished.
Okay, my name's Jess Mackenzie. I'm artistic director of a theatre company in Leominster where all our actors have got learning disabilities. The last couple of days have been really exciting. Yesterday was full of performance and energy, but it was much more about sitting back and listening. Today's been a bit more about actually hearing our voices. And I went to a talk this morning which made me feel quite impassioned when I came out of it, and realising that actually, even as a very small fish in this pond, that we all have a real responsibility. And I feel that we actually have got the ability to do something about that, which is really exciting.
Okay, I'm Sorika. And today is That All There Is conference, which is opening up discussions around learning disabilities and the arts. On the first day we had a having a ball session, so the delegates turned up, were given lunch. We had over 100 young people with learning disabilities performing various different street style performances. We had a choir, we had a ventriloquist, a stand-up comedian, all interacting with the delegates, giving them a real overview of what's already out there, what the talent that is in Birmingham of young people with learning disabilities already.
Today the conference was really good and same like yesterday. I think it was all nice, meet new people and just like bring them in here to what we are going to do, and it's all great and they put on smiles and all that, and that helps me out.
My name's Nick Walker and I am the director of the Core at Corby Cube, which is a mid-scale theatre in Corby in Northamptonshire. This conference has been really interesting because it's a reminder that we can do so much more, and it's a reminder to me of just how fascinating and experimental and exciting work from this sector actually is.
Okay, well, my name's Nicky. Well, yesterday in the evening part of the conference, which was the talent showcase, I was pulling double duty. I was the co-host and a stand-up comedian. But no, it was a lot of fun. We had a really good audience. The atmosphere was amazing. You know, the audience was so laid back. They were having fun. It was great.
But no, one thing about being autistic is that you can be honest, and sometimes too honest. My last girlfriend, she asked me, does my bum look big in this dress? I said, yes, your bum does look big in this dress. Your makeup is an absolute mess as well. I don't know what you've done with your hair. And those heels make you look too tall. I'm single, ladies, obviously.
Is it a competition, a game, or just a show? Or why else do you label me everywhere I go? Everything I say or do adds another to the list. Without all these conditions, Would I not exist? Then why is it you label me so, with all these medical terms? Can't I be a normal teen who don't have so many concerns? If I took a look in a medical book, I'd be on every page. You may as well just lock me up, like a bird stuck in its cage. I didn't ask for your labels, nor your time to spare. I didn't ask for you to see me. I don't need you to care. 'Cause this just isn't caring. You're making an item of me, like the sales in the shops, 10% less free. Autism, anxiety, ADHD, depression, dyslexia, need glasses to see. Conduct disorder, bipolar, OCD, GLD, paranoia, diabetes, epilepsy, asthma, hay fever, ferret allergy. Not allowed cheese, always in need of leg surgery. Hearing problems, social and emotional difficulty. How many more are you going to burden on me?
Well, this last couple of days, I made so many connections, so many friends. All the people here are so talented, it's actually given me that boost of confidence to get more connected with the arts as well. We are an equal to many other people, and we've got untapped talent. We need to show to other people what we are and what we do. It's sort of like not just me, but other people. They have an idea subconsciously, thinking, yes, I can do this. It's a dream, and you need to take every opportunity that there is.
I've found that it's been great that the conference has actually been driven by young people with learning disabilities. They've come up with the questions. They've also given their input, and they've sat on tables with delegates.
What we've pulled off is that the way that Richard and Joe planned the conference and all the conference planning was that this last afternoon of the conference, delegates would take ownership of the whole project and take that forward as a way of changing the practice and activity in the field, and it's exactly what they've done.
How do you recruit a diverse cross-section of participants without being tokenistic in projects? And I think, we had a lot of talk about this, and it largely came down to communication.
We're not thinking about what we can do tomorrow, we're thinking about how we can make change over the next 5 years, how we can build it into policy, into strategy, into everyday thinking about the work that we do. And the other really, really important thing is to stress the importance of collaboration, that we need to work together, we need to share skills, we need to have small organisations working with big organisations in order to effect this change, that we cannot carry on working on our own anymore. We need to get together and share our practice, learn from each other. And maybe the third point is to listen to the voice of young people in all of this, to be really engaged with young people and what they want to do, so that we end up creating opportunities for them that are appropriate, that are wanted, that are needed, and they are absolutely behind.
Young people with learning disabilities have an equal I don't want to use the word right, entitlement. They have the equal entitlement to access arts and culture that people without learning disabilities do, and it's just not happening. It's just not happening, and that's wrong. So we need to make sure that every young person with learning disabilities has an equal entitlement, equal access to artistic and culture activities.
My name is Kat Sheridan, and I am the Learning and Participation Coordinator for both the King's and the Festival Theatres in Edinburgh. What's more interesting to me about Birmingham and about this conference is I found that there's a lot more emphasis on career progression. So a lot of ours is working with children with learning disabilities as early as we can get them, as well as right the way up, so that you really instill and inspire that work early on. Whereas a lot of the people that we've met here is very much about, okay, how do we then take that and make it into professional work? How do they learn about the funding? I mean, talking to Nick about the Access All Areas course at Central, it's a fantastic course, but there's no way we could get some of our young people down to London. And so it's then about me going back and having conversations with the Conservatoire about, right, how do we create something like this up here so that there is professional training and that there is another step?
Well, in a perfect world, I'd like to think that there would be more representation for young people with disabilities in the arts, in every art form, because we're all individuals, everyone has a different passion that they want to follow, and when it comes to the arts, every person is totally unique. People do theatre differently, music and art and visual arts differently.
People with learning disabilities are simply not visible in our arts organisations, on our television screens, in film, whatever. They're not visible. So one of the biggest things is to make these young people visible everywhere, so that it's kind of second nature that they are part of everything we do, and that's as much a society problem as it is an arts problem. But I think the arts can effect those changes for society. So that's one thing, and the other is another is that. If in an organisation like this, a big organisation, that we don't just think about let's do a nice participatory workshop for young people, but let's look at how these young people can be involved in every area of the operation of this theatre, for example. And this theatre is really streets ahead in many ways of doing that, but there's a long road to go on that journey. So it's thinking about how can young people be front of house staff, how can they work backstage, how can they be engaged on work placements, how can they do all sorts of stuff that every other young person has an opportunity to do in the arts.
Difference is where it's at. You know, we all want a diverse, interesting, exciting society. We don't get it if we don't invest in it. And this is a way in recognising that strategically, we need to look at the systems that are in place to train people, to enable young people with learning disabilities to get there. It's not about having the outreach workers who are doing this. It's about having the chief executives that are doing this. So positioning this with the chief executives, ensuring that everything in your organisation aligns to a vision that ensures that the context starts to be seen as a fertile place for growing those kinds of attitudes, those beliefs. So it starts to become the way we do things around here, not the exception.
I felt the experience is like a firework. It's just like this huge amount of energy and passion that people are talking about, because they feel so it's so important that this work carries on, but it can't be like a firework. The thing about the firework analogy is it's there and it's beautiful, but if it just disappears, there's kind of no point. And so really, how do we nurture that how do we nurture all of us, the people we're trying to push forward, but also us as practitioners? How can we look after each other to keep this precious thing going?
I think for the disability people, just come and act. It's like, this is what you want to do. It's the same with me. And I feel it's their turn, not our turn.
This autism is not the tragedy. Ignorance is a tragedy. That's true because it just is. People's ignorance is a tragedy, not the actual people with autism. Because we're just like everybody else, just might need a little bit of extra guidance, and people judge that too quickly.
Within the creative case for diversity, I do not hear learning disability. I hear physical disability, I hear race, thank you, Kian. I hear all sorts of other things. I don't hear learning disability. And I think, again, part of the Arts Council thinking behind this, and definitely part of my thinking, is saying we have to shout loud about learning disability. And it's not because it's worthy. It's not because, isn't it lovely that those people are doing some lovely creative work? It's fundamental to our way of creating art. And I hope that today has already given you some sense of that, and that some of the stuff you'll hear later, and particularly the festival tonight, will give you a real sense of why we should be doing this. Let's not do it because it's an access issue. Let's do it because we're inspired to do it.
So, ladies and gentlemen, with that in mind, all I've got to say is this. If you want to try and view things from disabled people's perspective, please, for once, view the world through our eyes. It may not be normal, but it sure isn't boring. Thank you very much.